Hey guys, Mixed Media Girl here. So in this video, we're going to do an acrylic pour on a vase, and then I'm also going to show you how I seal my vases with this other vase that's already dry over here. So first, let's start with this acrylic pour on a vase, and I'll explain as I'm going through. I have a 9x12 canvas right here. The vase is sitting up on a cup, which is going to go on the canvas. And how I calculate how much paint I need for my vase is I just use enough to cover the canvas, and it always ends up being enough to cover both. So I'm also going to be using some very unusual colors today, you guys. I have all these kind of funky colors that I've mixed for, I was doing some samples for someone. So I'm going to start with my Artist Loft White, which is a pretty normal one for me. Then I have this really pretty rose gold. And instead of black, I'm going to use this dark gray to give us some contrast. This is also a metallic. And then I also have some magenta. Let me actually mix this up really quick. Got some magenta. Okay, now I'm going to add some gold, just regular gold. The first gold was that rose gold. And then let's go with some, this is like a metallic mint green. And these are all either Arteza or Artist Loft. And that's actually pretty much about how much paint we need. I do have a little bit, you know what, I'm going to go with a little more rose gold in there actually. And then just a little bit more of that dark gray. And finishing it with a dash of white. All right, there we go. So I'm gonna get everything out of the way here real quick. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and get the vase up here. The only thing I've done to prep the vase was wash it well. If you have isopropyl alcohol, go ahead and use that. Otherwise, just some good old-fashioned water. So this is pretty exciting. This will definitely be on the lighter side because a lot of these colors are light, but then we should have a nice contrast from that magenta and the dark gray. Okay. So we're just going to let this run down for a few minutes, and we shouldn't have any trouble getting all parts of the vase covered. It does look like I put the mint green earlier on in my cup, so that will mainly be on the canvas and not the vase. That is okay. Sometimes that happens. If you want to ensure all colors are on both and you're using a whole bunch of colors, you need to just layer very small layers so that you get everything everywhere. But we'll let that drip for usually about 5 minutes, 2 to 5 minutes, and then we'll do our canvas. All right, that should be plenty. And it actually looks like that magenta really took over. So I'm going to go ahead and lifting up by the cup, carefully move this to the side. Don't worry too much if you accidentally touch the bottom lip of it or anything, because it's going to continue to drip for a few more hours. Now I'm actually not entirely sure that I have enough paint on this canvas. So I'm going to add a bit more of that mint green around here, just to make sure. And these are actually paints that I mixed up, I want to say a couple weeks ago. So, and I've just been keeping them here with a lid on top. You can absolutely use like plastic wrap, which is even better. And usually I just mix directly my bottles, but these are just some odd colors and I need to get some more bottles. So long story short though, I want to get all these colors used up. All right, this should be plenty. All this on the outside is just to help get the canvas fully covered and help it move. So here we go. Okay, that is definitely unusual. I'm not sure how I feel about this canvas. I mean, definitely funky colors for me. Plus, I definitely didn't quite have enough paint to cover everything with just the first go. But let's go ahead. We're going to set this aside, and then we're going to do our resin. So I need to get my resin mixed up very quickly, and then we'll be right back. Okay, so I have my vase on a cup turner here. You can absolutely resin your vase without a cup turner. The only difference is that you'll get drips along the bottom that you'll need to sand off later. So I actually prefer to do my vases, like actually paint them on a cup and then do the resin on the cup turner. It's just easier. Takes out that extra step at the end of sanding it, and you don't have to worry about getting a nice lip. So I am using the Stone Coat Countertops countertop epoxy. You can also use their Art Coat. It is a really good one to use. And I'm just applying it evenly with my glove. A common question I get is, how long do you need to wait to epoxy? It kind of depends. It has been over 100 degrees every single day here for like the last month. So it's only been about a week for this vase. Vases also, the paint is a lot thinner than when you do a canvas or something. So vases, they, in my mind, cure faster, and I don't worry about it. I've never had an issue. So that's my answer, is usually between 1 to 2 weeks. However, if it's cold where you are, like, you know, below 40, let's say, definitely give it additional time. And in terms of how much resin you actually need to cover it, it's maybe a couple ounces. You don't need a lot at all. I like to go ahead and just make sure I got every single part, and then I'll let it spin for a while, and I'll come back in maybe like 10 minutes and double check it. This epoxy has a work time of about an hour, so I definitely can do that. Make sure you get the bottom, and just let it go through the full rotation multiple times to ensure you got everything. And last step on it is to torch out any air bubbles. You could use a heat gun as well. You cannot use a hairdryer. And I absolutely recommend resin to seal vases over anything else. I have in the past used spray sealers, and they worked okay. The main difference is I noticed that those can sometimes tend to stay sticky, whereas resin, it's like glass. Like, it is very well sealed. You can wash it with no issues. You don't have to be particularly careful. And it's just beautiful the way it makes it pop. This looks like marbled glass. So I'm gonna let this spin for a little while, and then we'll come in and do close-ups on all 3 of our projects here. All right, so we're gonna start with our canvas here. So I'm not entirely sure how I feel about that mint green around the edges, but it's very interesting. Let me know what you guys think of this one. I am in love with the vase. Let me see if I can gently rotate it here so you can kind of see all the sides. There we go. So that will be dry in a matter of hours usually. And then here is our vase. And I leave the vase on the cup turner. I just generally overnight, but depending on how hot it is, anywhere from 6 to 24 hours, I keep that thing turning. I would rather be safe than sorry, so I'll just let it keep going. So there you go. Hope you guys enjoyed this project, and I will see you all next time.